All right. All right. Dr. Goldberg and Eric Vickery here again every month, our fireside chats. We love to do these. I should do the split screen on this. I always forget to do that part. There we go. Now we're both there. And so today we are going to get passionate about leadership. We're going to get passionate about mistakes. And what does that mean? I just love it when people say, I made a mistake, and the response is good. And here's why. So we're not going to get fluffy and just say, think positive and all things will be better. We're going to really get into what that means. So Dr. Goldberg, give us some perspective on this from a big macro view, and then we're going to bring this down to leadership on a micro view in the practice.
So as we speak, we have conflagrations occurring around the world. This war in Ukraine is now going on over a year, and we now have a war between Gaza, the ruling Hamas party, and Israel. And one of the things that I think is difficult to watch, and I know a lot about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and I don't know if you know this. So I help run a free children's clinic in Jerusalem. And one of the things we're most proud of is we actually have a Palestinian dentist program that helps Palestinian dentists get into pediatric specialty programs in Israel. So we have an affiliation with Hadassah's Dental School in Jerusalem, with Tel Aviv's Dental School in Tel Aviv. Both of them have really robust pediatric dental departments, and they run specialty training programs. And, because in the Orthodox Jewish world and in the Arab world, having multiple children, as you can relate to, having multiple children is common, and the need for pediatric dentistry in those areas is very high.
Very high.
So anyway, actually had a gala that I ran several years back. We actually brought one of the Palestinian dentists into the United States to give him an award, because he actually helped. As a child, he was a patient in our clinic, and as an adult, he became a dentist and volunteered as in the clinic. And Gordon Christensen, who's on our advisory board, gave him the award. Wow. That the clinic run by mostly Jewish doctors, with volunteers from all over the world, in New York City, being given an award by Gordon Christensen. So I thought it was a really great thing. But anyway,
that's awesome.
The challenge, I think, that we are now seeing, if you zoom out in history, what we're seeing is a repeat of things happening over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Now, you're tuning that into something more manageable in our own practices. We see the same thing. We see doctors oftentimes befuddled because they seem to be having the same problems over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's that failure to recognize that how to learn from our mistakes. That recognize this mistake that keeps happening, that there's some ownership in that, and what do we need to do differently to make sure it doesn't happen?
Right, and it's ownership, it's leadership, but it's also, it's diagnostics. So, as dentists, we're trained that you see a symptom,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't react immediately. You take a step back and you look at what's causing it. Yes, you have pain. Okay, I could give you something so you get out of pain,
Mm-hmm.
but what's causing the pain?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If and it's an abscess, right? Well, I can give you antibiotics to get rid of the abscess, but what caused that? Let's get at the root cause.
Yeah, that's such a great analogy because you patch it, it just keeps coming back. That's such a great analogy. You put an abscess, you put an antibiotic to it, it's just going to come back. It's just like, I don't know. I see this often. I don't see it all the time. I see it often where you have that one phenomenally trained clinically this skill sets off the charts team member, but the attitude, you know what I was going to say, but the attitude is the problem. And we keep losing all the team members around this team member over and over and over again. And we can't figure out why. We just keep hiring someone new. It's like another prescription, another prescription, another prescription, but the abscess, the infection is still there.
And what's worse, so it happened to me. So maybe the best dental assistant I've ever had. And I mean, really, I just, and I've had, 43 years, I had plenty of dental assistants, but she knew exactly what I wanted before I even wanted it. But she couldn't get along with anybody else.
Yeah.
And finally, my wife was my COO.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, and I would defend her. She would come, my wife would come to me periodically, or other people would come to me and say, do you know what she did?
Mm-hmm.
You know what she did? And me, I would make excuses for her
Mm-hmm.
because I valued her chair side so much. I didn't want to see what was going on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Lori came to me and said, she's making everybody's life miserable
And
because
let me ask you a question. And the belief that there can't be somebody else out there who's not only as good clinically as them, but also has a good attitude. There's this fear of that process, right?
it's a fear of loss.
Yeah.
So am I going to be able to find anybody this good? I've never
Yeah.
had anybody this good.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some good people, but she was just spectacular airside.
Mm-hmm.
And she was great with patients. There was nothing in the operatory. There was nothing she did wrong. Nothing. The problem is that we're working as a team,
Mm-hmm.
right? She had problems with everybody else in the office. And we had 12 other team members. You can't, it wasn't until Lori confronted me and said,
Yeah.
sorry, we can't go on.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
we have another assistant that could take her place. And we did. And the other,
So it's time to do the root canal and take the nerve out. That's what we were going to do.
it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Painful. That fear of pain.
Yeah.
That's fear of loss, fear of pain. That was what was preventing me from making the decision
To
to
shift. Yeah.
rip the
So,
Band-Aid.
so how do we, so in that moment, you're seeing something is wrong, but you're not really owning the diagnosis. So you talked about like deciphering it. So how do we take a step back, decipher, and then attack the root cause of this? How do we get out of our own way? And we don't need to use that same example over and over. That was just one example. But when leadership or mistakes are made, good. What are we going to learn from this? How are we going to move forward in this?
Yeah. So I can tell you what I did.
Okay.
So I realized that so we had a review process in the office. And the review process was basically the doctor who was working, let's say it was a dental assistant. the doctor who was working with the dental assistant filled out, or any of the doctors who were working with a dental assistant gave input into the review process.
Yeah.
What I didn't have was input from the rest of the team. So we sort of changed our review process. You know, how do you rate your fellow team members? And it was anonymous, and it gave team members a forum to be heard. So it wasn't only great at identifying problems that as a leader I might not see, but it was also a way of giving people voice into how team members sort of interact.
Yeah.
And challenges.
Sure.
Now, if I found a problem, then during a review, and we did reviews twice a year, during a review, we would confront the situation.
Yeah.
A fellow team member said, how do you respond to that? That probably would have solved that issue.
Yeah.
Because understanding that and this is part of the challenge, because we may, as a doctor, we wear three hats. We wear the hat of the technician, we wear the hat of a manager, and we wear a hat of a leader or business owner.
Entrepreneur. Yeah.
Three hats.
Yeah.
So we're very comfortable in the technician hat. And in the technician hat, I might not see other stuff. I don't know what goes on in other operatories. I'm very focused on my patient care. I have no idea what's going on at the front desk or in other operatories. I rely on feedback from other people. So that's the managerial role, and that can be delegated. And I did, and that's what Lori was in the managerial role. But we didn't have the tools, I think, to, communicate things in a non-personal way, in a more objective way. That the new system that we built to gather team feedback about other team members, it gave us more information.
Yeah. So just quick summary on those three. So, because we've talked about this before, one, artist, technician. So you have to have the clinical skills to deliver it in the profession we've chosen. In most professions, you have to have somebody who knows the technical jargon, the artist on front, whatever it is. Two, you got to have managerial skills with people. You got to be a leader. And three, was it business owner or entrepreneur? Is that right? Yeah. Okay. And the dentist typically is wearing all three of those hats, and frustration occurs when that's happening. You got to have either people or time set aside to do those things. Because if you're just 32 hours of technician artist seeing patients, we just repeat the problem over here and we're not dealing with it.
Right. So
it's in people skills, managerial.
I found structurally, it was better to take out the managerial part. And then I became technician and practice owner, entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah.
The management part of it was delegated. And that's a position, I think, in most practices, that if a dentist had such a person there, would make their lives so much easier. I did this with a client recently. They came to me because things were in disarray, and I did my typical 360-degree interview system, and I did my diagnosis, and the diagnosis was there's a problem because the doctors are doing everything. They're the man, and they're way too busy. They have big growing practice. They didn't have time. And
Yeah.
they like, and when a successful practice consists of doctors who really enjoy the technician part.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how it grows.
Yeah. And so there's things you have to overcome. Is the manager empowered, right? Is the manager seen in the same light as they ought to be seen in leading people? And so you have to set that up. So I'm reminded of our shameless plug here, our leadership intensive that we do every year. It'll be May 16th next year, a 1 day for doctors and spouses, if you'd like. And we also have an office manager leadership training that day, simultaneously over here, learning how to be not just a title, but learning how to be a leader. So when it comes to managers, so let's get into the solution stage. Let's see if we're on the same page here on this and what I'm hearing. So number one, we have to be open to hearing and seeing problems as a good thing, right?
Right. Soliciting feedback.
Yep. I'm open to hearing, seeing problems. I need to give myself time to be a manager, or I need to have a manager in place. Two, I put celebrate challenges. You have behind you there, reward the struggle and enjoy the journey, right? Celebrate the challenges. That's what I put number two. So, hey, I'm hearing something good. Let's celebrate it. And the only way you can celebrate a mistake or a challenge, or as John Maxwell says, failing forward, right? These things, like, you have to say, okay, what can we learn from it? Why are we going through this? So number three, I put seek solutions and input from others, like your form that you have from everybody. Hey, give me feedback. Let me hear all that is. Now create a safe place to make future mistakes. Create a safe place to make future mistakes, because growth only happens through pushing through challenges. You're always, if you're going uphill, you got gravity pulling you back. You've always got something you've got to push through. So there's going to be another challenge, another challenge, another challenge. It's how do you interact in a way that your team says, okay, I'm going to be creative enough and open-minded enough to know there's going to be some failures, and am I comfortable here in that?
That's great. And something else occurred to me.
Yeah.
Recidivism. So we see this so often, and I hear it all the time, that we've made some improvements, we've made some changes, and then over time we sort of go back to our old ways. And I mean,
It's good.
I can yeah, I bet you've seen this too. So you work with a client with an office that's worked with a consultant, and maybe, I mean, consultants we know are really good. So I had one recently that worked with somebody I really know. I'm like, so why do you still have? First of all, why'd you stop?
Yeah.
Okay. We didn't think we were getting anything out of it, and some kind of excuse, or it was too much money. And why aren't you doing some of the basic things? I know that was part of the program that you had. Oh yeah, we were doing it. We stopped. Like, really?
Yeah.
Was it working? Oh yeah, it was working.
Yeah.
Okay. Why'd you stop?
Yeah.
Just so that's an
Yeah.
look, that's I don't mean to make this, yeah, I do. I'll make the analogy. Watchers, right? So unless you celebrate your successes and give reason why they're successful, you will suffer recidivism. You will go backwards, because moving forwards takes effort. It takes constant pressure. And that's just human nature.
Yeah, this is good. just from a belief standpoint, um, just acknowledging the elephant in the room. I don't see you as competition as another coach, right? Everybody should have a coach, and everybody should have the right coach for them. In fact, at All Star, we don't even believe that if you come to an event or do something with us and you already have a coach, stick with that coach. That's the important part. Find what works for you and be in coaching with them. And it's
But
really, really hard to do on your own.
different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I work with several clients who have other consultants,
Yeah.
but they use me for, I mean, they one just work with the owner of the practice alone. I do, leadership,
Yep. Business.
strategy.
Yep.
Other other consultant does the day-to-day operational stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it takes a village, right? It takes a village. So, but to really stress your point is, yeah, we're talking about making mistakes, but once you figure out the solution and it's working, acknowledge the process you just went through to get to a place that you don't give up on that thing. What, for example, I'll use a simple systems analogy: overdue hygiene, right? Overdue hygiene. We oh my gosh, the hygiene schedule. There's no patients. Everybody panic. It's like we hit this red button or something, and the sirens are going off. Everybody get on the phones. Let's go now. Let's go now. Let's go now. And you work the phones and you use the system, the verbal skills that we talk about, and then you fill the hygiene schedule, and everybody goes, "Oh, okay, we don't have to do that anymore. We're done." And then repeat. It happens over and over and over again. Instead of just saying, look, let's just keep it on cruise control, just an even pace of, here's what the system we're going to follow every single day, every single week, every single month. We're going to make this many phone calls. We're going to make this many reaches out. We're going to do everything we can at an even pace to maintain for our practice what we need to be doing. You had 4 people, this side note here, 4 people, let's say 5, just round number, 5 people able to make 4 phone calls a week, right? That's 200, that's 20 a week, right? That's 80 a month. Simple. It's like, if you can reach out to 80 people a month, it's actually really good. Doesn't take that much effort on everyone's part on the team to make a difference, but you got to follow the system and acknowledge what works to get you there to maintain the results.
So we see the same thing with marketing.
Mm-hmm.
When do people market?
Well,
They
I need new patients. I need new patients.
new patients. I need new patients. They market, right?
Yeah.
There's a lag time between marketing and new patients, and so same thing with hiring. Everybody's hiring when they need somebody.
Mm,
Philosophy: always be hiring.
that's right.
Always have
Always be marketing.
marketing. So it's a constant thing. Otherwise, you keep on, and you hear this all the time. It gets tiring just putting out fires, and that's the you know that's the wheel that most dentists dental
Yeah.
practice run on.
Yeah.
They doing the same thing.
The hamster wheel.
They never feel like they're getting ahead.
Totally agree. So, to learn from this, here's something that you can put in place. Simple tasks that you can put in place at your morning huddle and your agenda. Have something at the beginning, start positive, maybe even celebrate wins as you go around the room. Hey, what was your win yesterday? What was your win yesterday? What was your win yesterday? And then we did this thing where we said, what was your big mistake yesterday? What was your big mistake yesterday? You don't have to have everybody answer. You can just have, hey, was there a big mistake that we made as a team that we need to acknowledge on a daily basis? How do we engage with this?
Would change that to, what did we learn from
Yeah,
yesterday?
because you want to celebrate it. If people are afraid, like, oh, he's asking, have you ever seen I don't know if you've seen this Netflix show called Suits. Have you ever seen this show before? You like that one?
We just finished it
Yeah.
actually.
Okay. So it's kind of a buzz right now. Writers are on strike. Everybody went to this eight or nine seasons, whatever it was. And so we're like, all right, we'll give it a shot. Well, we're about halfway through, and I go, yeah, nobody would ever talk to anybody like that and still have a job. They're like yelling at each other in their faces, and they're afraid to admit when they make a mistake. If you notice that show, it's like, oh, I'm just going to sweep this under the rug, hope nobody notices. Of course, people find out, and then somebody explodes and yells it, and everybody's yelling at everybody, and they, rooftop conversations and side conversations over here and gossip. It just creates a horrible culture and atmosphere for your practice. So you can, as a leader, acknowledge what you learned from the day before. What did I learn from in my mistakes? We call it celebrate challenges. So yeah.
So I have friends that were in offices like that.
Mm,
That
rough.
not really fictitious. I
Yeah.
mean, that those law firms, it's
It's like that.
crazy.
It's like that. Yeah.
Sure. And that's like, why did people go into law? And what's different about people who go into dentistry?
Mm, yeah.
There's the people who go into dentistry are really going in to help people.
To help people. Yeah.
And really, I think we're kinder and gentler people. We just have a different focus.
Mm-hmm.
And we look at a culture like that as, I mean, no dentist would want to work in an office like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and um, and yet when there's a lack of leadership and when there's finger pointing, that environment is ripe for emotional breakouts.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, Lewis Litt. He is in a EQ roller coaster. When you read the book Emotional Intelligence, it tells you watch movies, watch TV shows for people who are emotionally intelligent or emotionally lacking. He is talk about lack of. So let's go through the four EQs again. We talked about this, but your self evaluation part, right? Can I understand myself, and then can I self regulate? Can I manage the self? And there's social awareness and relationship management. So um, he is like lacking on all four. The only thing he does on relationship management is manipulation. And yet you find this. I hate him when he's upset, and I love him when he's caring and emotional. He just has these highs and lows, right? So I told my wife last night, I was like, he's probably the best actor on the show because he has such a wide spectrum of emotion on display. And yet at the same time, he's probably in his character format, the weakest emotionally that he's portraying, which takes intelligence on his part as a human being, an actor. And
Development.
say that again?
Love the character development.
Yes. Yes, completely agree. And those highs and lows that people go through create a reaction of the person you're interacting with who says, I don't feel safe coming back to you again with that mistake. And you cannot create an environment, a culture where mistakes are they're a place for blame, they're a place to attack people, fear of being fired. Otherwise, people will hold to a safety zone and they will not grow. They'll hold down here. They will not be creative. They will not find new potential solutions for you to grow in your practice. And now you've limited your practice's growth, your business growth. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's so common. How do you point out mistakes?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We all make
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
What system do you have in your practice of pointing out mistakes?
Mm-hmm.
And there needs to be a forum to do it in a safe place.
Safe place. Yep.
Right? So that people can feel that they're you know what the greatest fear amongst most people is?
Public speaking, is that number one?
Number one,
Yeah.
public. And the reason is people don't like to be made to look foolish or stupid in front of other people.
That's right.
That's one of the fears for
Yep.
public speaking.
Yep.
Well, it's the same fear here. Don't want to be called out in front of their
Their
teammates.
peers.
They want a safe space.
Yeah.
And it's the only way of exacting any kind of meaningful change. The book Crucial
I
Conversations.
love Crucial Conversations. I was just going to say, you got to have that book, Crucial Conversations.
It's a crucial conversation when you want to exact some kind of behavioral change in another person.
That's right. That's right. So you could Google it. You could email me for the cliff notes on it, I suppose. Why am I not? Oh, there it is. Crucial Conversations. It's a red book, but the author is so small on there. Do you remember the author's name?
Oh, I don't. And, actually, and I included it.
So Patterson is one of the authors on it. If you want to grab it, it's not that big, but it's such and we teach it in our leadership event. But it's an integral part of being a leader. But it's also, if you could teach that to your team members, that's how they'll approach each other in your culture, and that takes effort. Go back to those three areas. You just want to do dentistry? It doesn't always work that way. You got to get into manager and leadership, or someone has to. You got to know how to delegate that. You got to know how to empower people in that role. But this is a key part of that section of being a business manager leader.
I just, I hope everybody who's listening to this appreciates that you and I have probably read most of the same books.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for that, is that you can't, first of all, you're not taught any of this stuff in dental school. No dental book that's going to well, I'm writing a book now, but there's really not that many dental books that talk about these things in real detail,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everything that I've learned, almost everything, best practices when it comes to non-dental stuff
Mm-hmm.
come from dental stuff. It came from best practices in other areas.
In your
So
life.
whether it's Be Our Guest with Disney,
Yep.
or Unreasonable Hospitality from Will Guidara,
Yep.
or Crucial Conversations, Atomic Habits, all these, right?
Yeah.
These are the books. So
I just read, so last one I read was Don Miller's new book called How to Grow Your Small Business. Very, very good when it comes to leadership and vision. And he uses the analogy of an airplane: cockpit, wings, sales, marketing. Your fuel is your cash flow, all of this. Okay. And so that's good. And I just started reading Lester Howe's, HWES, The Greatness Mindset. He has probably the number one YouTube and podcast on for interviews. He interviews the people of the world, and all he's focused on is how do you grow as a human being. And what's funny is, new dentists will tell us, what's the book I need to read. I need to read a book about how to make my practice successful. And we think we're going to go pull a book on for dentists off of a dental bookshelf, when really we need to be pulling these books off the life shelf of human growth, not just, how do I do a better composite. That is skill set, obviously, is essential, but when you're growing your business, it's about people and effective conversations, and how do you have those. And I want to go back to a point you made earlier. I want everybody to hear this. Success and failure are forever intertwined. You cannot have one without the other. You can actually just have failure and failure and failure, actually, but you're not going to have successful without going through some failure. You don't learn how to ride a bike without falling down. It's just impossible. So don't make failure the end of the story. The failure is just a part of the story.
and that's part of the value of a coach, because what a coach will do, what a good coach will do, is will help make those failures maybe a little softer,
Mm-hmm.
and help you do the post-mortem on the failure and
Mm-hmm.
figure out why it happened. So, because sometimes we're blind. We have emotional attachments to certain things that blind us from seeing issues that are holding us back.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right.
Yeah.
So the It's funny. So a couple of weeks ago, it occurred to me that, I'm quoting these books like
Mm,
all the time. So you know what? I'm going to write a book.
yeah.
It's almost finished. I have
Awesome.
edited. It's called The Best from the Best.
Mm,
And it's all the books that I've
hmm
read. I've a mess upstairs in my office.
I don't know where you find the time. That's going to be awesome. I need that one. That's going to be good.
I'll tell you how I find the time. I mean, I subscribe to um, two programs. One of them is Get Abstract, and the other one is Blinklist, I think. And yeah, and they give me compilations. They give
Mm.
me a Cliff Note
Hmm.
version.
Yeah, the summary.
They rate it, and I'll read it, and
Hmm.
if something that I think I really like.
Yeah.
It's really easy today. Also, you go on Amazon, and Amazon will give you a free preview of
Hmm.
what's
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Executive summary. That's what I was thinking of. There's executive summaries on Google as well for a lot of books. Yeah, I love it. So
Like,
I want to put a huge asterisk on this real quick because I just had this ringing in my ear of two things. One, team members, if you're the one listening to this, please share this with your doctor. Send this link to them right away. And doctors, if you're listening to this, you're probably hearing this in your head. So I have celebrated that mistake with my team member. Okay, we'll call the team member Joey. I've celebrated this mistake with Joey before, and then I celebrate the same mistake with Joey a week later, and then I celebrate the same mistake with Joey, and then I celebrate the same mistake with Joey. I get that. That is not what we're talking about here. That is inept. That is the person who doesn't have the ability to do the job you're asking them to do. Find a different job for them. Find a different place for them to go,
or that conversation is not happening in the right.
well, I'm assuming that they're celebrating it correctly. Yes, exactly. So if you've done the steps to get them to that level, but yet the mistake keeps happening, I mean, I've had team members that have ADD, they have learning deficiencies, they just aren't learning the way you're teaching, and that might not be in their skill set either and their strengths. So find the right talents for them, or help them find a different job, do something different because this just isn't working for them. We hear this, they're just not good at this. They're a financial coordinator who doesn't have a system for accounts receivable. You've gone over it and over it and over again. It's like, well, they're not passionate about it, they're not willing to do it, it's not a right fit. Okay, this has been fun. This has been really good.
Isn't it always?
Always, every month is a lot of fun. I don't know why we're not a hit. I don't know why we're not on like the top of all the charts everywhere, because this is a hit every month. All right. So obviously you've got amazing just resources and coaching for doctors and teams that are looking for implementing their systems. And I love the dentist to the physicians. I love the sleep, all of those things. Those are amazing. We share a client actually. I won't mention any names right now, but we'll talk off air about that. And she loves everything you teach, loves everything I teach, and just puts it all together. So allstardentalacademy.com if you want to learn more about what we teach at Allstar. We have coaches for you, we have live events for you, we have online virtual training, and then Practice Perfect Systems is available as well to you, right, Dr. Goldberg?
That's right. And you have a program coming up.
Yeah, we'll be in Portland, Maine in a
So our programs are
week and a
always at
half. Yeah, we're at the same time. Where are you going to be?
Fort Beach.
Yeah, Newport Beach. So yeah, we're doing our team case acceptance training program, our All-Star Mastery Level 1, which is a whole team event on just verbal skills from answering the phone and systems to case acceptance and stopping cancellations. We do that 2 times a year, one in the spring, one in the fall. So at this point, you've probably missed the opportunity to come to Portland, Maine on the 19th and 20th of October. But if you'd like to join us, you're welcome to. And then we'll do one again in the springtime. You can reach out for that as well. Then we have our annual event in May, which is leadership development, personal growth for the entire team in all sorts of ways. So, and you're going to be in Newport Beach doing what?
We're going to talk about Dr. Cialdini's principles of influence
Nice.
into practice.
Can I call it sales?
So I had this conversation with some yesterday with a client,
Yeah.
and I just don't mince words. So I say, everybody in the office is
Is
in
it
sales.
is in a sales position. Yep.
Everyone.
Everyone
Boom
is. Yep.
is a four-letter word in most.
Yeah, if you don't like the S word sell, get used to the B word broke. That's an old Walter Haleyism. Yeah.
So it's influence. Your
Yep.
influence.
Yep.
So we're talking about it. So
That's an entry point for me with all teams. Understand this: you're all in every position in life is in sales. Even the pastor is selling something because it doesn't always involve money. It's selling an idea, a concept. The artist who does a painting still has to sell it at some point.
errand. I wish I knew some of these things.
Yep.
I mean, I was a young parent. I wish I
I
knew
know.
some of these things.
So true. So true. We're all leaders and we're all in sales. Get used to that concept. Now, how you do those things now is up to you. You get to determine how you sell. If you don't want to be in pressure sales closing everyone, then learn how to do sales in a way that's actually kind and engaging and people like to be a part of. So that's what we're here for. I think we're both mutually in that. So thanks again, everyone, for listening, spending part of your time, your day with us. Share this with people. Share this with them. Give them access to this. We love it. And email us if you have questions. We're here for you. All right. Take care.